Welcome to this video. This video is about Real Madrid and if they're in another Galacticos era and why that's a bad thing. Now, the original Galacticos, this is the original Galacticos, had Alfredo Di Stefano, Ferenc Puskas, Raymond Kopa, Jose Santamaria, Francisco Gento. Now, with those players, Real Madrid won 5 European Cups in the 50s, which was an unprecedented success, and obviously now they have La Decima. And last season Real Madrid won the Champions League, so claim La Decima. It was their first Champions League success since 2002, which is 12 years ago. 12 years ago. Real Madrid also had another Galactico era. They had players, they had Casillas, Salgado, Hierro wasn't there at that point, it was Helguera, Roberto Carlos, Makelele, Figo, Beckham, Zidane, Raul and Ronaldo. Now, in that team you have so many former world players here. Raul, Ronaldo, Zidane, Figo. Not sure if Beckham won it, he might have maybe won it. Now, there was other Galacticos brought in during that time. There was players like Robinho, players like Julio Baptista, Sergio Ramos. Sergio Ramos is obviously still there. Lots of kind of real top players. And you looked at that team and you thought, oh, what a fantastic team, they will kind of go on and dominate, they're going to win everything. But the problem was it was too many stars. And the biggest mistake of that team, and I always maintain this, was the fact that they didn't give Makelele the contract he wanted. Claude Makelele, in my opinion, is probably, if not the greatest, one of the greatest holding midfielders in the world. Remember watching Real Madrid when they won the European Cups in 2000 and 2002, Champions Leagues. The whole team would attack and Makelele would just sit back there and soak up all the pressure. He did the thankless task of stopping teams from getting at Real Madrid. Now, okay, they would have lost certain games and they weren't maybe doing that as well domestically as they would have hoped, but they were conquering Europe. They won the Champions League two times out of 3 years, which was a great achievement. And that was all having Makelele sitting in that hole, just stopping anything going by. He did a terrific job at it, and there was nobody better. There's no one like that to this day. Your kind of closest thing now is your kind of box-to-box midfielder like a Pogba or a Matuidi. But Makelele was your no-nonsense holding midfielder, would just stay there and just hold the fort and make sure nothing got through. The current Galacticos has Casillas, Rafael Varane. Casillas obviously in both teams. Varane, who was in the youth team. Pepe, they signed from Porto. Sergio Ramos already mentioned. Fabio Coentrão, who was signed from Sporting Lisbon. Sami Khedira, who was signed from Stuttgart. Cristiano Ronaldo, who was signed from Man United in what was a record-breaking deal. Toni Kroos, who was signed from Bayern Munich. Karim Benzema from Lyon. James Rodriguez from Monaco. Gareth Bale from Tottenham Hotspur in what is now the record deal. I think Keylor Navas, who did really well for Costa Rica at the World Cup. Javi Hernandez, who's on loan from Manchester United. A strange one, not that I don't rate Javi Hernandez, but I just don't understand why he's at Real Madrid. Dani Carvajal, who is a youth player. Lucas Silva. Alvaro Arbeloa, who played for Liverpool. Nacho is a youth player. Luka Modric, who was also at Tottenham. Hesse. Zisco, who was at Real Sociedad. Or maybe, no, Illaramendi was at Real Sociedad. I'm not sure where Zisco came from. And Pacheco. Now, not all of those players are kind of world-breaking names, but again, it's another Galacticos era. And where Ronaldo is the man there. Ronaldo is a 2-time World Player of the Year, and he is the guy at Real Madrid. Now, Gareth Bale's come, and he did score in the Champions League final last year against Atletico Madrid, but he also played very poorly throughout the 90 minutes until the extra time period. And there's been many times this season where he's played poorly, where he's tried to do what he's done at Tottenham, where he would take players on and try and do things himself. At Real Madrid, as I said, the man is Ronaldo, and everything goes through him. And there's rumoured to be issues with Ronaldo and Bale, which is similar to the issues believed to be between Raul and the Brazilian Ronaldo, the original Ronaldo, back in the original Galacticos era. And that was the reason why that didn't work, because too many superstars, too many players getting paid more than other players. and kind of almost like jealousy, maybe not jealousy, but yeah, I mean a bit of jealousy. Players not kind of happy because other players are getting treated better. You know, and there was no harmony there. And again, it's the same with kind of Real Madrid, and again, it's under Fiorentino Perez's stewardship. And Real Madrid, when they won the Champions League in 2002, they had Zidane and they had Figo, but they didn't have Ronaldo, they didn't have Beckham, and they didn't have these other players. They had a couple of obviously these kind of Galactico-like players. I mean, Zidane when he signed for Real Madrid at that time, it was for 54 million was the record price then. Real Madrid have broken the record for signing a player many times since then. And the reason that obviously didn't work out is because too many kind of egos, too many players that would be the man at other clubs. Figo, Zidane, Ronaldo. Obviously Raul was Real Madrid. And again, it's the same again. You've got Ronaldo, Cristiano Ronaldo, who's the 2 years running World Player of the Year. You obviously got Casillas, who is the captain, has been Real Madrid goalkeeper forever and a day. You've got Pepe, who is known to be very difficult to get along with. You've got Karim Benzema, who was a man at Lyon. James Rodriguez, who should have won player of the World Cup. Gareth Bale, who was Tottenham's best player for 2-3 seasons. Luka Modric, who was the man pulling the strings at Tottenham, and the man who I've seen pulling the strings for Real Madrid. Now again, the same mistake has happened. Real Madrid in the summer let go Xabi Alonso, and in doing that, they actually no, let me just check that one. In letting go Xabi Alonso, they don't have anyone to kind of hold the midfield, hold the midfield together. Just going to check that. I don't want to make a mistake here. Yes, that's correct. Yes, Alonso joined Bayern Munich after Real Madrid won the Champions League there, and they don't have anyone can holding the midfield. They don't have that holder. And it was the same thing as the original Galacticos. There was no Macaulay, too many attacking players, there's no balance to it. Ancelotti is believed to be under tremendous pressure at the moment. Now, last season Real Madrid won the Champions League, and obviously they didn't win the league. And this season they have been top of the league, and now they're struggling. And they're obviously still in the Champions League, but they had a very poor result at home to Schalke. They lost 4-3. They lost 4-3 at home, and that was the kind of results that the original Galacticos would get. They would score a lot of goals, but they'd also ship a lot of goals as well. One example I remember is when Real Madrid beat Manchester United by 3-0. I think it was actually Old Trafford, and then Manchester United beat them 4-3 in Madrid. Again, it's because of the imbalance. Obviously a fantastic result for Real Madrid to knock Manchester United out, but they would get knocked out time and time again. They got knocked out by Juventus, but they got knocked out by Bayern, they got knocked out by Arsenal, and it's because of the imbalance. And players that obviously had some special, like a Thierry Henry or Del Piero or Trezeguet, the kind of top players for Juventus and Arsenal respectives, were able to knock Real Madrid out. I don't believe Real Madrid will retain the Champions League this season. I think that it's either going to be Barcelona or Bayern Munich that will win it. Real Madrid are again, obviously, they're in the midst of another Galacticos era, and they're in danger of having the situation where they could go years again without a trophy. Fabio Capello won their first league for them in a few years when he joined the club, and he obviously tried to come away from that kind of Galacticos way of thinking. And I think that was one of the last seasons Ramon Calderon was running the club, and obviously he's looking to get back into it. Sacking Ancelotti, in my opinion, would be a mistake. It was a mistake that Chelsea made, and obviously yes, they have Jose Mourinho back, but Chelsea have just gone out in the last 16 of the Champions League after playing really poor football against Paris Saint-Germain. Ancelotti is a manager that likes to play exciting football. His record of AC Milan in the Champions League was incredible. They won it 2 to 3 times under him, and they were obviously in a couple of finals as well that they didn't win. With Real Madrid and Ancelotti, I'm sure with him at the helm, they probably could win another couple of Champions Leagues, and they'll certainly be challenged again in the league. There's only so many managers you can kind of part company with. How many managers are Real Madrid gonna go through? It's probably the toughest job in world football. You're under such a microscope. You think you're under a microscope in British football. Spanish football is much, much worse. The papers are all about football there because they're so passionate about football, as they are in Italy. And there's no other job that's under the microscope like the Real Madrid job. I feel for Ancelotti it's a really tough job, and with the way that Real Madrid are, they always love to sign either the best player in the world or a blockbuster signing, but it hasn't always paid off for them. It paid off in the 50s where they had that incredible team and they won 5 European Cups. It didn't pay off in the Galacticos era. Before the Galacticos era, when they won their last Champions League in 2002, before they won 2014, it didn't. But then when they switched to Galacticos era and they got in Beckham, they got in Owen, they got Ronaldo, it didn't pay off. All fantastic players. Not necessarily. It's not obviously the individual player's fault. It's the fault of the team that they couldn't have such great players and work together and be the best team in the world because they should have been. Real Madrid at this moment of time are still the best team in the world, but they're in danger of going down the same route. Although yes, they won the Champions League last year, but the signing of Toni Kroos, and Toni Kroos is an excellent player, but it makes no sense to me. Real Madrid let Xabi Alonso go. Now, whether that was right or wrong, that's up for debate. But they should have replaced him. They should have got a hold of midfielder and someone that could kind of hold the team together, someone that could stop them being under pressure. So they could play their ultra-attacking good football, and they're an excellent team to watch. The danger for them is being in another Galacticos era, and the Galacticos era is synonymous with failure. Because Real Madrid didn't win that.